Welcome back to the FanSpeak Network and another episode of Sibling Showdown, our Wednesday best ball or BBM5 live draft. So our weekly Wednesday BBM5 live draft. Had to think about that to say that. So I'm, of course, joined by my sibling, my brother, Steve, and we are going to draft a BBM5 in just 1 minute. That's right. Weekly Wednesday BBM5 draft with my brother, Steve. We are here on the FanSpeak Network. Thank you guys so much for joining us. While you're coming in, be sure to hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to the FanSpeak Network because we have live drafts 4 days a week. Tuesday, DraftKings. Wednesday, Steve and I, Underdog. Thursday nights, Andrew and Justin. And Friday, Friends of Best Ball. This week, I have the Pound joining me at 8:15 p.m. So mark your calendars for that. I'm very excited. So full week, Steve, but time to get in the BBM streets. How are you doing and how are your BBM fives going?
I'm doing well. Drafts are going well. Obviously,
you're in a lot of slows right now, right?
Yeah, I'm still doing a lot of slows. Just right now, I don't mind it as much, and just a way to make it easy to get a lot of action down.
Yeah.
And I did the what was it, the single entry fast that they just did. They released yesterday.
Oh, the Greyhound was awesome.
The Greyhound, yeah.
The advance rates were amazing. I absolutely
yeah. So very interesting, those types of tournaments. That are really fun. And so I just did that. So that was the last fast I did. I did a BBM a couple days ago fast, but so it's I actually kind of enjoy doing the slows right now, as news isn't changing too much or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm actually liking doing the slows more this year than I have in prior years. It's just letting me think things through a little bit more. I'm still going to mix in plenty of fast. I mean, obviously we're doing all our streams fast, but I'm still going to mix plenty of fast non-stream drafts. But I do like mixing slows in. A, for the volume. B, to just like try to be a little thoughtful. Obviously, the Greyhound was purposely matches a Greyhound, a fast draft. But yeah, I love those single entry 3 max, the advance rates. I said from the jump this year that I want to be very cognizant of that. And I want to get in as many of those as possible because that was a regret I had last year. So I love that already. It's not even June and they're already putting out multiple of the single entry. I know Hope Bishop was on Tom Strachan's channel with Tyler the other night. And she kind of basically said, yeah, these things are going to keep coming. And that is just music to our ears. Cause I mean, I just, listen, I'll be happy to win 5 figures, or have a chance at 5 figures in a final sweat. You know what I mean? So like, I really, really, really am excited about all these different tournaments. And did you see the teaser, Steve, that they just put out? Underdog Drafts just tweeted. It's like some teaser. And if Andrew's in chat, I know he was trying to decode it. I know I was trying to decode, other best ballers were trying to decode what it meant, but they put out some teaser and a graphic. I wonder if it means like a season-long tournament or something.
Might have to look at Twitter real quick because I did not see it.
Yeah,
was it Underdog Fantasy or Underdog Drafts?
Underdog Drafts. Yeah, see if you can decode what it means. I can't quite decode what it means, but I know there were some people trying to speculate, and I can't wait till they drop the tournaments and see what that's all about. So, but we are going to get in the BBM5 streets here in a second. Quick reminder, obviously we have some new articles up on fanspeak.com, so check those out. I just did an article about last week or week or two ago, I talked about looking at the best ball playoff schedule and looking at it from the weather dome perspective. And this week I just dropped an article about the high totals to target. And I created a chart for each. And it's not like you're just looking at that one factor, but just mixing all those factors together, it's interesting to see what projected high totals, months and months away, but are, and obviously the weather factors. We decided not to look at the defensive matchups yet because that's very hard to predict too. So yeah, we're trying to kind of just take a look at all these factors and combine them to formulate different strategies for teams we want to target in the best ball drafts, but that we want to have access to for best ball playoffs. So check out my article, and Steve wrote a really good article today. He had prior written an article about guys he thought were being drafted too low and that he was higher on. And now he wrote an article about guys he thinks are being drafted too high and he's lower on in 80, so check out his rankings, which are available. That is up too. Andrew is in chat. Andrew, let us know if you've decoded what the BBM drafts is saying. Tyler, we got Tyler in chat. Tyler, hey, it was great to have you on Friday. So good to see you in here. Steve, did you decode what the Underdog drafts means?
Well, I mean, yeah, the first one was interesting because there's two new images, right?
Yeah.
It looked like a clock, but is that just saying they're going to do a lot more? Because they did that last year where they did a slow only and a fast only.
Yeah, I think maybe it could be that. I'm wondering if it's some season long thing, a season long.
Well, the other thing was the marathon, which that makes me wonder if it's like the season long.
Okay, marathon season long. Okay,
yeah.
And of course we got Greg, that's Spread, who check out his DraftKings show from yesterday. That was great. He was worried about, I don't know if you watched it, Steve, he was worried that he had to decide between a Jaden Daniels stack or a Trevor Lawrence stack. And he had more, Jaguars pieces. And he already had Lamar week 14 bye. St. Commander said week 14 bye. And I said, no, you did the right thing. You got that Lawrence stack. So I loved it. Check out his DraftKings show. Any other thoughts, Steve, before we jump into the BBM 5 streets?
No, we'll talk about it as we go along, obviously. But,
well, if you want to jump in with us, I'm pulling up a draft now. I tested earlier. Okay, I was just going to say what's going on. I did a test earlier. So I'm jumping in now. If you want to jump in with us, let's see. Oh, it looks like it is filled. So we will see. I don't know if we got anybody else in with us because it looks like I was the last one to fill a draft, and we are drafting out of the 6th spot. Yeah, Andrew says, I wish we knew. Yeah, I cannot wait to find out what this BBM draft teaser is and when we'll find out. Is it going to drop tomorrow? Is it going to drop Friday? Probably this week.
Yeah, I guess June, May, June 1.
Oh, I'm thinking it'll be this week.
Well, isn't June 1 Saturday? Or...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so.
I could just see them being like part 1 was May. Then
we do have someone in here. Well, Andrew missed it. He is the first in a new draft. So Andrew, I'm very sorry. I should have done a countdown. And we've got King of QC in with us at the 12 spot. So I like it. So thanks for joining us. And let me put up the board for right now. So yeah, we got King QC, who he was in with us when I drafted with Tyler and Friends of Best Ball on Friday. So great to see you. I don't think I recognize any other names in the chat. But Steve, let's talk about it. Who have you been targeting lately out of that like middle range, 5, 6, 7 spot?
Yeah. So, to me, if somehow a Chase or Hill falls, obviously they're like the auto pick, but
sure.
I then lean towards Amon-Ra and Bijan as the next two guys above Justin Jefferson.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
I
just feel Jefferson. Look, I mean, he's still a top 10 guy and could exceed that. It's just going to be harder for him to exceed that. It's harder for him to.
Still have Jefferson higher than him, but I have him behind the other 2 receivers or 3 receivers.
It's just tough with the likely big drop off in quarterback play. That they're going to have.
Okay, I know Chase has been falling because of so it did go kind of chalky with the first 5 picks. So it is Amon-Ra, Bijan, Breece Hall. So who do you want to take with this one?
I say Amon-Ra.
Okay, I don't have much Amon-Ra yet, so I kind of like doing that. Okay, what's going on? Let me make sure my thing, I mean, the day I've had, of course, I'd have technical difficulty. Okay, so yes, I got Amon-Ra at 6. We'll be up again at 19 and 30. Let's see what King of QC does at the turn. I'll tell you what, in the Greyhound, Steve, I had the turn, and I did not like it. I loved the turn last year, but I barely had any at number 1. I know I've talked about that with Andrew, and Felix was talking about that on Twitter today. I barely had any number 1. I barely had any number 12. I got number 12 in the Greyhound, and usually I like being at the turn, and I did not like it. I was getting sniped in every single round, but I read you my Greyhound, and you approved. You thought it turned out.
Yeah, I mean, I did like how it came together overall. But I do think it's a little tougher this year, not necessarily at the 1-2 spot, because I think, you know, whether it's somebody does slide there or just, if you're getting any two of,
Oh, he
say,
got Garrett Wilson slid there. That's who I wanted
yeah,
yesterday. So he got Garrett Wilson, which I like a lot. Yeah.
yeah, to me, if you're getting any two of, I'll say AJ Brown, Wilson, Gibbs, Harrison Jr., London, or Taylor. Not saying that's the exact order I would take them in, but if you're getting any two of those, I think you're off to a good start.
Oh, I'd have
Um,
Saquon higher than Taylor
and Saquon
or
would be
Gibbs.
next, and
Yeah.
especially if
I like his
you
start of Garrett
yeah.
Wilson Gibbs. So,
But what I think makes it tough is kind of that 3-4, because if you're not going quarterback and like say a Mahomes, Stroud, um, it's like, do you want a premium tight end like a Dalton Kincaid, Andrews, or maybe a McBride still there?
yeah, that's who I
Who I
ended
know
up
that's who
getting.
you
That's
had.
who,
So
yeah, I got McBride. Okay, let's
because
focus here
yeah,
up into two, and then we can talk about it. Then we got some new people in chat too. So up at 19, I'm sorry, but Jonathan Taylor's too early for that. I'm not as high on Jonathan Taylor, so I hope he goes because I know you're going to want him. But I'd go Devontae Adams or Deebo Samuel. Who do you or Nico at 19? Who would you go?
yeah, I'd go Debo.
Okay, you'd go Deebo above Devontae?
I love Devontae as well, but I just Debo. Um, I just love, it gives us a good stacking option in
Yeah, that's
Purdy,
true. That's true.
and I mean,
Okay,
Minshew can be a third quarterback, obviously, but
let's pull up the board. Actually, let me first say hi. We've got No Fan in chat. He was in some streams with me last summer. No Fan, I'm so glad you found me and us, and I hopefully you subscribe to the FanSpeak Network. So thank you for joining us. That's great to see you. Andrew says welcome as well. And yes, Andrew Justin on tomorrow night, 9:30 here on the FanSpeak Network. So again, we have quite the schedule all week. You can catch different drafts Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and great to see you. So let's see. Are we sleeping on Adams? Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the targets he's gonna get, and just the he's such an alpha.
yeah, no, and that's an absolutely fair point. And I actually have Adams ranked higher than
Yeah, I think I have Adams ranked higher
some
than.
other guys. I just I personally, Debo is just so special. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. That yeah, I mean, he can do.
We also
that,
did get unintentionally. We were just talking about, who do you like better, Debo or Dave? We also did get a Week 17 stack with him, which I haven't done yet. Again, I haven't gotten much Amon-Ra, so I haven't been able to get a ton of the 49ers Lions, and we did get a 49ers Lions. Yeah. Of the elite stack, of the elite week 17 game. Highest total on the board, I believe, when I did the totals article. So that's interesting as well. So now we're coming around the corner, and after Debo, it went Olave, Devontae Adams, Jonathan Taylor, Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle at the turn. Steve, something you and I have been talking about, Spread loves, he's a Raiders fan, number one, but he's not biased. He wants to win some money, and he loves it on DK, and that makes
because he's absolutely going to have more catches than Debo. There's no.
I actually do. No Fan. I do like Debo over Ayuk as well.
I do as well. I think his spike weeks are going to be more likely 35-point spike weeks. Ayuk's like a 25 spike week type guy, which are good.
Yeah,
but
I like both, but I have Debo higher. Yeah. Andrew does as well. So okay, we're coming up again at the 30 and 43. One quarterback off the board. You never know these days. Sometimes it's later in round 3, but Hurts is off the board with Devonta Smith in early round 3. Steve, one thing you and I have talked about, I'll say this quickly, is starting a draft with, sometimes it's fun to just try different draft strategies. Mm-hmm. And as much as I do like elite tight end more this year than last year, well, we're on the clock. So let me focus on our pick and then we can talk about it. So we have a big Kyron Williams fall here from 20. He's been falling, but we've got 24. You could continue to correlate with Laporta, Michael Pittman, who I know you love, and Henry, who I love. And then
I'm good with any of those. I'm good with any of those 3.
I'm good with any of these too. We could go.
Let's go Pittman. Let's go 3 receivers to start.
Ooh, that's shocking for you, but I like it. I wouldn't
Yeah.
even mind doing. Don't have enough Anthony Richardson yet. I don't know if that will look. I don't know if that would. It would
Well,
have that would
he
be a bit
could
of a.
be in that range. That's one of the other reasons why I said that is it
Okay.
gives an option.
Yeah, so I
Um,
went Pittman Cup, who I'm way higher in Cup than ADP, and he has been going earlier to that
yeah.
point.
And
So
to the other reason, like as much as I love Kyron, he is falling. So it's like if he's going to start sliding more to like the third round,
right.
then why take him in the second round?
Well, this was the third round.
Or I mean, I'm sorry, if he's going to start sliding to the fourth round, why take him in the third round? Sorry.
Right. Right.
Um,
And I have been taking a good bit of Derrick Henry and need to
yeah.
mix in the portfolio. So let me finish what I was starting to say, which I should start to thought right before we're about to pick. But one thing you and I have talked about last year, we leaned so heavy into the late round tight ends, and it worked. And we were super high on obviously Laporta being the biggest stand, but other guys like Jake Ferguson, a little bit of McBride. Who were some of the other heroes? Quickly.
I mean, Luke Musgrave until he got injured.
Yeah.
There were
Hunter Henry was another one that
Hunter
was
Henry.
solid. So yeah, we
Yeah.
did well with the late round tight end, Laporta being the biggest stand, who just went off at 34. King of QC is on the clock now at the 3-4 turn. But one thing you and I talked about, and this year I will say I can make a solid case for these elite tight ends this year, much more so than I could last year because their price has fallen. And, Laporta is the earliest one going in the third round, but you've got a lot of elite tight ends going, rounds, 4 through 7, somewhere in that range. And I absolutely love them. So I am mixing in a lot more. Oh, nice. King QC got Kelsey Mahomes stack at the turn.
That's a great way to
very nice.
The 12th pick, that's for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of, I caught my eye. But anyways, so absolutely am going to mix in more elite tight end this year, but I still do believe that late round tight end can work. Obviously mix your portfolio, right? But we've talked about, those drafts where we start 1, 4, 5, and obviously keeping the pacing. I like to keep the pace of 3 receivers by round 6, 4 by 7, as Hayden Winks mentions in his article of what has worked every year of BBM, and 5 by 9. I feel very solid about my receivers, but boy, you have a nice receiver room, a solid quarterback, whether it's an elite high or someone before, in the top 10, 9, 10 rounds. And you just feel like you're super solid. Now that leans into our 3 quarterback build. It leans into the 3-5-7-3. I think a fun experiment would be see if we could pull off a nice little late round tight end 1-4-5 to start, Steve. But we'll see what shakes out. You never force it, but it might be a fun exercise to see.
Yeah.
Boy, I am jealous of King of QC's start. I really like that. Garrett Wilson gives Kelsey Mahomes, and then it went Tank Dell, Josh Allen, George Pickens, Amari Cooper, and we're up in 1 at pick 43. And I know we're not taking Zay Flowers because you wrote about it on Fanspeak, a list of players you're lower on. And I actually wrote about it in an article I do writing for CBS as well. So we are on the clock at 43. We've got Etienne and Jacobs. I kind of like Jacobs better.
Either one.
Okay. And I'll just read the other, the Higgins, Lamar. I doubt that you'd get Andrews to come back to you. And then we talked about doing the late round tight end. Since we took 3 receivers instead of reaching for Higgins, I kind of like going Jacobs there and gain exposure to that Green Bay. The fact that he's falling into the 4th round now, because he was going 3rd round. Yeah. So the fact that he's fallen into the mid to late 4th round sometimes, I think is a value you need to snatch up, and just getting a part of just an elite offense too. Any thoughts on that?
No, I agree. I really like Jacobs. I'm surprised he is sliding because the Packers offense looked so good, second half of the year. And when Aaron Jones came back, he had some dominant games, especially in the playoffs, obviously against the Cowboys, which was an elite defense at the time. So, Jacobs, they went out and made Jacobs a priority. Their passing game should be really good with Love more experience, their young receivers more experience, their tight ends healthier and more experience. So they've bolstered the offensive line. I really love Jacobs. Etienne was there as well. Even with some of the reports that they're going to ease back on him a little bit, he was like running back 3 last year. I'm fine taking him as running back 10 or whatever it is this year.
Yeah.
And that's another offense I think could go to the moon this year. They left so much on the table last season.
I just queued up a couple to keep an eye on Anthony Richardson. If he comes back, I do not have any Pittman Richardson stacks. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we're 4 picks away, so he might get taken. But Lamar Andrews, that's a very common at the if you get the 1 spot. And I'm not knocking a common build. I mean, they actually went Lamb instead of McCaffrey, but this has been a very common build, whether you're getting Lamb or McCaffrey to then get Lamar and Andrews at the turn, or sometimes if you get them from the 2 spot. So it's crazy though. Last year, the Lamar Andrews combo was what, at the 2-3 turn, and now it's at the 4-5 turn, or was it? Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So that just shows the price is falling and wanting to take advantage of that. And so, yeah. Okay. We are up in 1 so far. As long as Maddie MC does not take Anthony Richardson, we will get our Anthony Richardson share, and then we can talk about kind of what we want to look at next. So let's see. Yeah, some of the other running backs I had queued up, like Pacheco and White just went, McBride just went. I had queued up some. Okay, so he took Christian Kirk, so we are going to take Anthony Richardson. We pair him with Pittman, and we have, a quarterback that can definitely be a top 5 quarterback this year. And we obviously are going to lean into the spoiler alert 3 QB build, because yes, he does pose a bit of an injury risk, but it's a risk worth taking. So I definitely like grabbing some Richardson shares that I did not have last year. And once I saw him play, I definitely knew I wanted to get some more this year. So need to get some more already. So we got him at 54. Then both the Chiefs receivers went off the board, and we'll be up again at 67. So let's take a look at the chat. Go ahead.
So the thing with Richardson, and I wrote about this a little in my article, because Adonai Mitchell to me is just getting way overdrafted this year. And I think a lot of it's due to, one, he had some pre-draft hype, but he slid in the actual NFL draft. And then he goes to the Colts with Anthony Richardson. Richardson in his 2 healthy games last season only averaged 31 passing attempts, and both those games were games where the Colts were significantly behind. So they were playing catch up the entire game. And he only had averaged 210 passing yards. So Pittman's the guy I want to stack him with. I really don't have interest. If I'm drafting Richardson, I don't really want to be taking many of his other guys unless they're named Michael Pittman or Jonathan. I get the Jonathan Taylor.
Sure, just soaking up all that touchdown
the
equity.
Offense.
Yeah.
Because the offense is going to be good. But
yeah, you're kind of answering Andrew's question. If you don't get him with Pittman, you're not forcing it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, if I get Downs at value, maybe maybe Downs slides a little bit. I think Downs can be fine. A super late Jelani Woods or Granson, like last round, because one of them will probably win the tight end job, and this offensive scheme has been pretty good for tight ends, both in Philly and even last year with the Colts without Jelani Woods. So. I don't mind those types of situations, but Adonai Mitchell was the main point. Is he's just going way too high given
you had
the role. Given the expected role.
You had him on your guys that you think are going too high. Check out the article on Fanspeak. Let me say hi to Frankie Frank in chat, who is King of Kings and in with us in the draft. Hey, Mick, was in some of your drafts last year. Pat told us he was going to be on your show tomorrow. I think it means Friday at 8:15. Will be on with me with Friends of Best Ball. So I think we have a fellow pounder in here. That's good to see. Great to see. And looking forward to the show on Friday. Be sure to join us then at 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. And thank you so much for joining us in a live draft with us today. So we've got King of QC at the 12 spot and King of Kings at the 4 spot. So we'll have to check out both their drafts. And he's got a nice little, he picked up Adams. He did Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Malik Neighbors, Travis Etienne, and got Trey McBride. So thank you for joining us. Great to be in a draft with you. So Steve, we are coming up here. King of QC ran back a little to the Detroit. Jahmyr Gibbs got George Kittle. I like that. And then it went Pitts, Addison, Mixon, CJ Stroud. And then we are now currently on the clock. I love Ridley at the top of the board. I have him much higher than
McConkey. Yeah.
Okay. I need more Ridley. I have a ton of McConkey already.
Okay.
Is that okay? Okay. Oh, do we have a bye week? I didn't even check bye weeks.
I
five,
mean, him and
nine.
Monroe had the same, but that's it.
Okay, that's not bad. Okay, yeah, then I like what's shaping up here. We did get 3 through in the top 3 rounds, and then we got 4th by the 6th round, and we'll probably get our 5th in the next couple since we're going to be focusing on running back and receivers. But we definitely want to hit running back hard here too, because again, we're trying to build out just a little experiment, see what it looks like. A 1-4-5 with our top 10 picks. So McConkey did go right after us, and then another rookie, Keon Coleman, right after that. Any other thoughts as we're coming around, Steve, on your article and highlighting any guys that like, we mentioned Zay Flowers earlier, and like Adonai Mitchell, any other ones you want to point out? But obviously go read the article on Fanspeak.
Yeah, and Zay Flowers is honestly a very similar argument. Ravens are one of the lowest throwing teams in the NFL, and same thing with the 49ers. With the 49ers, we know exactly who it's going to. And the problem with the Ravens and Zay Flowers is, a lot of the offense is going to go through Lamar. A lot's going to go through Derrick Henry on the ground, and that's going to be a lot of touchdowns that just aren't even up for grabs from a passing game standpoint. So Flowers just probably doesn't have a ceiling to go much higher. I think he's going as like wide receiver 25 right now, and that's probably about best case scenario for him. If Mark Andrews is back and healthy, because his splits with and without Mark Andrews last year were pretty big. I think there was about a 4-point difference. So
yeah, and I just wrote an article about him on CBS that I'm much lower on him than ADP. And you realize of his 5 touchdowns, 4 came after Andrews was out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's just, yeah. I mean, if Andrews misses time again, sure, then I think Zay Flowers can absolutely meet his value, if not exceed it. But if Andrews is healthy for essentially the whole year, and likely will be involved, Bateman, Devontae Walker, etc., I just think it's going to be tough.
We're on the clock. I queued up Aaron Jones, Ramondre, and Zamir White. And then we got Deontay Johnson. Not interested in the other 2, Jameson Williams.
I say Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I'd like to get another running back here. Aaron Jones makes me a little nervous, but I mean, you can get that week 17 correlation right with your running back. So I'm fine with just going Jones here.
Yeah.
So.
And the other thing, Zamir White, I actually like Zamir White quite a bit, but he's the same buy as Jacobs. I just don't like having my top 2 backs have the same buy.
Yeah. I queued up Najee too. Do we have Felix in chat? We don't have him in the draft. I know his name is Pecan, so we don't have him in the draft with us. So we are safe to draft Najee Harris. But I don't think he's going to make it back to us so likely at 91, but it is a consideration if he does. So after we took Aaron Jones, and went Christian Watson, Deontay Johnson, Rashee Rice, King of Kings.
Watson was another guy that I am just really worried about this year.
Yeah. Though I know he's doing a lot of like medical stuff for the like constant hamstring issues. Any thoughts on?
Yeah, I mean,
and he's trying. Najee
hope.
Goes at 82.
You hope, but the thing with that is, as we saw last year. I mean, one, Jaden Reed is a dude. Romeo Doubs is better than anyone expected, and Dotavian Wicks has talent. I mean, this guy came out of nowhere. He's really talented, and so while when Watson came back, he kind of got his snaps back, but he didn't do much. He had like 2 catches in the 2 playoff games. So I just don't think it's a guarantee. If he misses time, he could really struggle to get his job back.
Okay. Yeah. And again, check out Steve's article on fanspeak.com. I just want to point out our friends in chat. We got King of QC on the clock right now. At the last turn, King of Kings went Keon Coleman, Joe Burrow, obviously to go with Jamar Chase, like that a lot. Again, we took Aaron Jones, Najee Harris. We do like Najee Harris a lot. Like, we don't have quite as much as our good friend Felix, who I believe is on Friends of Best Ball in a couple weeks. He went at 82. Our guy Dak, who we're high on, at 83. And then King of QC, who's in the chat with us, went Jameson Williams, building out that Lions stack further, and Jaylen Warren. So I like that a lot. So I like that a lot coming around. And then Jake Ferguson with Dak Prescott from the 11th spot. I like that a lot
Yeah.
as well. So we'll be up again at 91. So we should probably take a look at what we got. Ramondre, we've got some falling value if you're interested there. Definitely want another receiver. We talked about billing out of 145. Would like a receiver out of one of these next two picks. I know we have Sutton, who I know you like at the top of the board. I like Lockett. I know you're much higher on Shakir than Samuel was someone you're a little lower on. So I just queued up some of the ones that I know both of us like as far as receivers. As far as running backs, so Ramondre Stevenson went. There was falling value there. Jonathan Brooks went. Then Love went. Then you have Swift, Zach Moss, Tony Pollard, and then the receivers I queued up. Who do you like?
I'd go Swift.
Okay, I don't have much Swift yet. Oh, shit. Hold on. Uh-oh. We might not get Swift.
There he is.
Okay. Mouse might need a battery change. Don't know what's happening there, but don't have much Swift yet. Why are you high at Swift here as one of the middle rounds?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we saw last year he had a very strong year with the Eagles, and his year would have been so much better if Jalen Hurts didn't vulture, 15 touchdowns from or whatever it was. So, this situation with the Bears, there's some talk, maybe Khalil Herbert's on the way out, maybe not. Rashawn Johnson, he's probably handcuff at best. Like, I don't think he's really a major threat to Swiss, share of the workload. And yeah, I think if Swift's healthy, we saw last year what value he brings to the table. And this Bears offense, I think, is ready to go. They have a young rookie quarterback. Well, they have major weapons for him to throw to. I think they can be ahead of the sticks some and will run the ball also. So
just had to point out we have an NFC North running back room. Thought that was kind of fun.
But it's also nice. All three have different buys.
Yep.
But yeah, I actually like that group. I think all three offenses do prioritize the run enough.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to answer No Fan's question. What are your thoughts on Kamara? Should get a lot of checkdowns out of the backfield. Was Kincaid a thought for you with your last pick? I'll let you answer Kamara, and then I'll speak to Kincaid too. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah. Kamara is absolutely going to get a ton of checkdowns. Works clearly better on full PPR sites. But yeah, he last year put up good running back numbers in a Saints offense that was very underwhelming. The expectation it's going to be better this year with, the change of offense coordinator and some of the other things that they've done. So yeah, I'm fine with Kamara. His role should be good. Like, you always worry his touchdowns might be a little fluky, but he's absolutely going to be one of the league leaders in, catches. And so total yards, he probably will be among the league leaders as well.
Where did Kincaid go, Steve? I'm trying to find him.
It was probably 4th round, 5th round, something like that.
Why do I not see him?
Right there, 4th round.
Oh, okay. Where we took Jacobs. Okay. Well, let's focus on who we're taking, and then I will answer that question. Okay. So we have receivers. I do like to get 5 by 9. We're in round 9. And these are some receivers I like, and I know you like too. So Tyler Lockett, Mike Williams, Shakir. Do any of these have week 5 buys?
No.
Okay. Then which one do you like best? I'll let you pick.
I go Lockett.
Okay. I don't have a ton of Lockett. I probably have more Williams. I know you like Shakir a lot. I probably need to get a little more him. I think, I got him in my Greyhound. So, okay. So to start, did we accomplish? No, we need one more to get the 135. Like Kincaid, to the earlier question from Noel Fan, that I like Kincaid. I've been getting him a lot with or without Allen. When I do elite tight end builds, Kincaid is one of the ones I love. I think he's going to be like the Travis Kelce-esque type role for Bills, and yeah, absolutely love them. We were kind of experimenting with doing more of a late round tight end build in this particular draft, and so I kind of knew that going in. Also, we drafted 3 receivers in a row, and I kind of liked the falling value on Jacobs too. So those are kind of the 2 reasons why we didn't go Kincaid there. But I do like Kincaid a lot, and I will make sure that I have plenty of Kincaid in my portfolio. Andrew says he feels the Eagles' offensive line and made Eagles' offense made the Swift a little bit better. Does that worry you at all? I know you're high on the Bears' offense, which would make Justin, sure, and happy as a Bears
I'm
fan.
I'm sure Justin's going to want to jump in when he hears this, but no,
they'll be debating it tomorrow night. I'm sure they have a lot of good debate.
Obviously, the Eagles' offensive line is one of the best in the league. Wasn't as good last year as it was the year prior, and Hurts is a major threat. But I think the Bears' passing weapons are, if they're going 3 wide, there's not going to be a safety near the box when you have DJ Moore, Odunze, Keenan Allen, and Cole Kmet. You cannot have a safety anywhere near the line of scrimmage. So, Swift could see a lot of light boxes, which I like. And Caleb Williams, not the total running threat, but he has that Mahomes-esque quality, that Aaron Rodgers-esque quality to just buy time, scramble if need to, but buy time in the pocket. He's going to drive defensive crazy. I think Swift could maybe see more dump offs in this offense than he saw, with the Eagles. So yeah, I'll be very interested to see how he's used. Is the Bears' offensive line as good? No, but I do think it's improving. And I just feel like it's definitely an offense that I love the upside on. And the backups are fine, but they're just not guys that, to me, have any threat of eating into his touches.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to point out that King of QC in chat completed a Lion stack. We had a Monroe. We certainly could have considered that, even though I know we were trying to build out a 1-4-5 since we got a Monroe. But he, with Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams got Goff, and he has that with Mahomes, and we are on the clock. So that's why I wanted to interrupt you there. Don't love the running. I know you're high on Singletary. Do you want to ditch the 1-3-5 and go and grab Purdy?
What's below Dubs? I can't see below that.
Goddard, Rashid, Shaheed, and Gus Edwards.
I love Shaheed.
Okay.
We could go Edwards also, but yeah.
You don't want Singletary?
I'm fine with Singletary. Go. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine with Singletary.
Okay. I was gonna say, if we're not doing the quarterback, like the second stack, I don't think we need to reach for the 6th receiver.
So that makes sense. I do like Singletary. Again, I'm not sold. I talked about when I was on the show with Justin and Andrew. Tyron Tracy, he's moving up in drafts because the Giants drafted him, but there's no, he was a receiver. I guess you could call it that. Most of his college career was at Iowa. Really have receivers, but beyond that, he got switched to running back essentially these last 2 years, and he showed some flash, but he's a special teams guy. He's going to be a guy who catches the ball out of the backfield, but I think it's going to be Singletary's primary role, and I don't think he's a real threat on the roster again.
I thought another volume guy, and we'll show the 1-4-5 that we build out in a minute. If Purdy comes back to us, that's a no-brainer for me. I assume you too. I doubt that he will. That would be massively falling value. So I highly doubt he will. We do have 6 picks left. So as you can see, I'm pulling this side up. I know I like to show the draft board. I'm pulling this up to show kind of the experiment we did. And that is 1-4-5, doing the late round tight end build, 1-4-5, and getting that quarterback, 4 running backs, 5 receivers. And then you're just getting like 1 running back later, 2 receivers later, build out a 3-5-7-3. And then your running back receiver rooms feels really, really solid. So we've got Anthony Richardson, Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift, Devin Singletary, Amara St. Brown, Deebo Samuel, Michael Pittman, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett. I mean, that just feels super, super solid to me. And am I doing this type of build every single time? No, but we kept the receiver pacing to make sure we got 3x6, 4x7, 5x9. We still got absolutely solid running backs, and we got an elite QB that could possibly finish in the top, 3 in quarterback scoring. So, that makes me happy. We are 1 pick away and Purdy's still there. If he doesn't take him, we're taking him, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a no-brainer. If he doesn't, who do you want to take? We can obviously look at tight end. We've got Dalton Schultz. I know Hawkinson, we need to let him fall more because with the injury. Oh, my goodness. We're getting Purdy like 20 picks past ADP. Okay, why is my thing spinning? I was like, do not do this to me tonight. Not now. Because what's his ADP is like 109, right? I mean, we got him like 18
like that, yeah.
Past ADP.
And Purdy is probably one of the best guys to pair with a guy like Richardson's going to be extremely volatile, and Purdy will have some, ceiling spike weeks as we saw in the Eagles game last year and a few others, but he's going to have just a ton of 20-point games just because he's thrown to the best 4 guys in the league, McCaffrey, Kittle, and the 2 receivers, and then add, Ricky Parasol will probably get about 2 targets a game, but he's good. It's just the talent there is just so insane. And what he also does is some of his worst games, some of Purdy's worst games last year were when like Debo was out or when Ayuk was out.
Right.
Now you put in a guy like Ricky Parasol in there.
Just
looking a lot better.
Just plug in. Yeah.
So
here we kind of thought like, okay, one of these guys is on the move, either Ayuk or Debo, they're staying. But like you said, if there's any injuries this year, he's going to slide right in there and there's going to be like no hiccups. You kind of mentioned how Anthony Richardson obviously brought pretty different bye weeks, but obviously kind of more of a ceiling and floor type play. I like doing that. I wrote about that earlier in the off season about different strategies, and I don't want like necessarily all like ceiling guys that are major injury risks and all floor guys. Like last year I did a couple like Goff, Stafford, and I can't remember who late, like Jimmy Garoppolo or Mac Jones or something like that. But you want to kind of mix that floor ceiling at the quarterback position, especially when we're doing the 3 quarterback build. I like that a lot, and I'm going to be writing an article soon about teams that pair well together and playoff teams that pair well together. For instance, people are like harping on the Dolphins have a rough like week 17. Well, great. Guess what? They have a great week 15 and 16. So if you pair like a Tua stack with like, I don't know the bye weeks, but like, a 49ers or a Lions or an Eagles stack, that could be just a great combination. Okay. So now so we got our second quarterback in the 11th round. We're back on the clock in the 12th round, and we have we won't touch quarterback for a while. So we've got 2, 4, 5. We should look at tight end. So we got Komet and Freiermuth. Just queuing them.
I like Komet.
I mean, we could continue to build out the Bears, and then we do have massively falling value on Edwards, unless you wanted to take
I'm okay doing that.
Okay, it's like massive falling value. So I typically don't and would wait, but we're done at running back, obviously. And he fell, 116 to 139. So, 23 over 2 rounds.
About 2 rounds,
of ADP. So that's too much for me. That is what you want to keep an eye on. Yes, you're trying to combine all your different strategies. You want to, build out your stacks and your correlation. You want to make sure your positions are set. You want to be careful about bye weeks, but you also, if you see massive falling value like that, scoop it. I like it. Well, I just want to make a point, Justin, in chat. Again, check out Justin and Andrew's show tomorrow night at 9:30. Dolphins mixed with Houston, Baltimore would be interesting. Yes, exactly. Because Dolphins have a great week 16 and 15 and 16 playoff schedule, very high totals, very good game environments, warm weather dome situations, but then at Cleveland week 17. So everybody's poo-pooing, Tua and the cold stuff, mix them with Houston or Baltimore and hello, so great point by Justin. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Steve?
Well, the other thing I was going to say is, what allows us to take Edwards there and really scoop that value. Sure. Tight end, we're passing on some guys there, but we got 2 quarterbacks. We have 5 really strong receivers because we went wide receiver in the first 3 rounds. Our wide receivers are really stacked.
And we made sure we had 5 by round. That's what I yelled at Dad about.
And so, but the point being is it just allows us to take some of this falling value for a guy like Gus Edwards, who should be 2 rounds earlier, where in another build, it'd be tougher for us to take that.
Right. Yeah, no. And that's why certain builds that allow you to just kind of scoop falling value. That's a great That's a great point. So we're coming around again and into the 13th round. And at this point, we definitely need to start queuing tight ends. Because yes, this was clearly going to be a late tight end build, but we want to, make sure that we are keeping an eye on that. So we're up at 150 and 163 in rounds 13 and 14. I'm just taking a quick look at the board. King of Kings went the last few rounds, went Rahishi Shaheed, who you had mentioned, Tashi Spears, Ezekiel Elliott, love that. In the last few rounds, King of QC on the other side, he got Goff stacked up in that San Francisco Detroit stack, Josh Downs and Quentin Johnson. So yeah, like a lot of the targets they're hitting. And again, we're coming up at 150. So I am going to just cue Polk because I know he's someone you like, but Musgrave would be the one that I would keep the eye on. We have a Vikings Minnesota stack going on, and it's just adding to Green Bay Vikings Packers stack going on, and it just adds to a Packers stack even without Love. Again, you don't have to have the quarterback to correlate the team, so let's grab Luke Musgrave as our first tight end. Love that. While we're here, I'm just going to cue other tight ends that I know we like. Are there any other ones that like jump out or stand out to you? I mean, I'm going to go all the way down to our guy, Jatavion Sanders, whose ADP is 210. I've seen him going higher. But I'm just queuing him up since tight end is the position we do need to really keep an eye on, because we have a 2-5-5-1, but we do also want to continue to build out. We're done at running back, one more quarterback, two more receivers, and two more tight ends with I guess 4 picks to go. So that was round 13. We took Musgrave as our first tight end. And then coming around the corner now, we have King of QC. We'll see what he does, and then we can talk through what we plan on doing. Our next pick will be at 163 and 174 in the 14th and 15th round. Oh, so I guess we have 5 picks. Sorry, didn't do the math right there. So one quarterback, 2 receivers, 2 tight ends. Yeah, that's easy to remember. Oh, nice pick. He got Roman Wilson, who I was going to queue up. So like that a lot. That's one rookie. I just love him to slide into that Deontay Johnson role.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think, Deontay Johnson, basically everything went wrong for the Steelers offense last year, and Deontay Johnson still had valuable weeks and missed about 3 or 4 weeks, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, Roman Wilson gets an upgraded offense coordinator, upgraded offensive line, upgraded quarterback for the Steelers this year. Every reason that he could exceed what Johnson did, even being a rookie versus what Johnson.
Do you compare him to like a Jaden Reed, just being that like smaller slot type guy? Just got curious because I know you were really high on Reed. How I always ask you about NFL comps, so I was just curious.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some comp there. I think Reed probably was a little better all around, but he also went around earlier.
So we have falling value on Polk. Do you want to grab that?
Yeah, I would take Polk there.
I know you're really high on Polk, so I figured let's grab again, we're in a position to just grab falling value. So like that. So now we have 2, 5, 6, 1 built out and just need one more receiver. And there's only one other week 14 buy, so no big deal on that. So I like that a lot. I queued up Malachi Corley, just another receiver. Now we can look at receiver later because actually looking at our team, Steve, while we're on a break, and then I'll go back to the board with Richardson and Purdy, 14 and 9 respective bye weeks. We have Packers, Vikings, Chicago, obviously Detroit, San Francisco, all those are already taken. What other New England? You could consider Drake May, but obviously you've got the rookie risk. A lot of these guys, quarterbacks are gone. We could really try to stack up like a Jatavion Sanders with a Bryce Young. Who might you be considering here? Actually, Ridley is Levis still out? Okay. I was like, wait a second. I just was going through our receivers and I was like, wait a second. Tennessee. I keep thinking Jacksonville, and I have to keep telling myself, So he's at 181, and we will be back up at 174 or we could see if he falls to 187. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I would say,
other,
go ahead. And then
the other option would be Geno, with Lockett.
I think there's a huge bench risk there. That's fine.
I think there's some, but I do think that the change to the offense coordinator, bringing in the guy from University of Washington, who they like to throw the ball.
What's his name?
Sorry. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but they like to throw the ball, as Michael Penix was well aware. So.
Absolutely. Okay.
And so I mean, there's 3 really good receivers there. We have one of them, so I could just see Geno having a. We do have to keep in mind last year he did lose Dave Canales. Lost.
Which is why I mentioned Bryce Young.
Yeah. I mean, Canales is no doubt the quarterback whisperer right now.
Yeah.
Which is definitely why I like Bryce Young. But
I mean, that is a big reason why, and the fact that he got more weapons this year, obviously.
So.
And that we're high on Sanders, relative to his ADP.
Yeah.
So those are the factors for that. So I'd say my favorite targets would be, as our third quarterback, would be Levis or Bryce Young. Baker Mayfield just went. So it's up to you. Let's see what the board's working with here. So again, 174, 187. Levis is still there. And then you've got these tight ends available to you. Malachi Corley is falling value, but I think we could take a late round receiver.
We don't need another receiver right now.
Yeah, I think we go later receiver. I would go Levis or Conklin probably. I
mean, go Levis. They also play. I can't remember which week they play the Colts. At least one of the weeks in the playoffs. I don't think it's week 17. I want to say it's week 16, but.
Let me pull it up on Fanspeak and check out my little handy dandy chart, which you can find on either of the best ball playoff articles, one high totals, one weather dome situations. And let's see, Indy's playoff schedule. Oh, let me put up the board so y'all can look at that while I'm reading articles on Fanspeak. So we completed our 3 quarterback stack. Indy plays Denver. Okay, this is the one with the team totals. Denver, Tennessee, week 16. Yep. And Giants. And then Tennessee plays okay, I think my chart might have cut off Tennessee. It did. So I will fix that later. So I want to say, I'm trying to remember who else they now I'm curious.
I think one of them is Jacksonville, but
yeah.
But I don't remember who the third one is.
All right. Steve, you can answer this while I'm looking that up. End of the draft question. How do you feel about CH as the last pick? Probably RB5 or a 6th on a, like a probably 0 RB team. And then he said, or would you prefer Hall or Bigsby? I know you have thoughts on this, so give your thoughts while I look something up.
All the above. No, and this is actually something I'm going to be writing about shortly. I think these running backs, it's kind of crazy to me that they are essentially the clear handcuffs. Hall a little less so, but likely clear handcuffs and on pretty good offenses, if not great offenses. And if anything happens, they're going to just jump into pretty massive roles. So they might not have a lot of week-to-week value, like the Jalen Warrens and stuff like that of secondary backs. But if you're getting them in 17th, 18th round, these types of backs, absolutely. Like I had mentioned earlier, Travis Etienne was like RB3 last year. Maybe Bigsby, with them saying that they want to ease off Etienne a little bit, does have a couple games over 10 points if Etienne doesn't get hurt. But if Etienne misses any time, whether it's 2 weeks or 10 weeks, you're just getting massive potential right there.
Just going to interrupt you really quick. We're on the clock. Tight ends. I'm glad we took Levis because all the guys we were considering are still available. Well, obviously Sanders is, but do you want to go Otten or Conklin here?
Go Conklin.
Like that. Wait, he doesn't have an issue with. Yeah. Okay. So by week 10 and 5, and then
either one of those are 11.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad you're memorizing the bye week. So if any of these fall to us, and then we could just take a flyer receiver because I feel really good about our receiver room. So we're up at 198 and 211. I would say that we take our third tight end because we waited so long to take tight end at
Agreed.
198, and then take a flyer receiver at 211. That's and I'm glad you agree with that. Any other thoughts on Andrew's question? Or because I interrupted you.
So CEH, we saw last year Pacheco missed a couple games, and the one game McKinnon got the touchdown. He was the guy you wanted, but then the other games it was CEH. So because McKinnon also got hurt. And yeah, right now it looks like it's CH's job to lose. And same with Bigsby, same with Hall. Hall's kind of going to have to beat out Trey Sermon, but these types of backs, of course, like the situation last year with like Gus Edwards or Jerome Ford, when their guy went down early and they essentially got the whole year. Yeah, that's massive value. But even if it's a couple games, you could get that. Look at Donta Foreman last year. I don't know why the Bears didn't want to play him. He was inactive. He was their most effective running back when they actually gave him chances. That's kind of Foreman every single year. But yeah, I mean, these types of guys, they get a role and they can produce even if it's for 3 weeks. So yeah, I'm fine with taking shots on those kind of guys late, like you said, for a fifth or sixth running back depending on the build.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, let me go back over here. Yeah, I'm kind of considering all three of those guys late. And I know you've been talking about Bigsby more. That's kind of perked my ears up. Okay, so luckily not many tight ends have gone. Watch these next two. We'll take it. I'll jinx it. So we're up in one at 198. And Sanders is there. Oh, so Kate Otten had gone, but we have Sanders ranked way higher. So are you fine taking him here?
Oh,
Let me see. Because I'm higher on Sanders than I am Gesicki, Kraft. We already have the other Packers tight end, just Musgrave and Jonnu. So if he doesn't take Sanders, we will take Sanders then.
And the one other thing I'd say is if we had taken a tight end earlier, maybe.
Oh, CEH goes there. Just had to point that out. Go ahead.
Yeah, and maybe when we took Edwards, Komet was kind of the option.
Right.
Maybe we could have just waited till the last round and taken one of the Colts tight ends, either Granson or Jelani Woods to pair with, our guy Anthony Richardson. Just because there is, with tight ends like that, I'd rather take a guy like that. And like I said, the Colts offense has prioritized tight end both with the Eagles and obviously with the Colts last year. So I wouldn't have minded that, but I think because we waited so long to start the tight end process, we needed a little better option. I think Sanders gives us a little bit more upside.
Okay. I just queued up some receivers that I know both of us are open to. If you had to choose between Beckham and Malik Washington as a Dolphins, receiver in the very last round, who would you choose? I don't know if that's what it's going to come to. I'm just asking.
I'd go Beckham. I mean, Malik Washington, there's upside, but he's also a limited guy. He's very small. If anyone's going to get anything out of him, it's of course Mike McDaniel. But that's the other thing is, if anyone's going to get Beckham to be anything near Odell Beckham of old, it's Mike McDaniel. I mean, Mike McDaniel is one of the best guys at coaching wide receivers. You talk to any receiver who's ever had him coach them, and they absolutely love him.
Right. Okay. And I just looked, and San Francisco. Oh, we're on the clock. Shit. Sorry about that. Okay. So Beckham did go 2 picks before. So we have Tez Walker, Boyd, Malik Washington. I kind of we didn't take Bateman, did we?
No.
I like Tez. What do you say?
Yeah, I like the upside on Tez Walker. It's a very open
rookie
receiver room behind Zay Flowers. I mean, Bateman's the expected guy, but I mean, as we've seen, he just gets injured every year. He, just has disappointed.
There was all those reports today that were going around Twitter. I did a quote retweet about the ready to get hurt again Michael Scott gif because about he's looking good. Definitely had a ton of Bateman. last year. Pull the draft board up while we're waiting for it to finish. And we've got Felix in chat. God bless the 2 times speed, right, Felix? I love listening to my best ball speeds. I'm usually 1.5, 1.75, but that 2 times speed will get you caught up. Great team. Thank you, Felix. Hopefully you liked our shout out. We looked for Najee. He didn't fall back to us, but we kept you in mind when we were hoping for Najee. So, and then King of QC says, you guys named all my targets. LO, I knew CEH would not make it back. So that's pretty funny. I'm really glad you joined us. We'll look at both King of QC and King of Kings drafts as well quickly, and then look at ours before we get out of here as the draft is finishing up now. But I have to say, Steve, just experimenting with this whole 1-4-5 thing. And again, I preach all the time, or I preach to myself all the time, mix up your exposures, diversify your portfolio, both with the guys you pick, the players you pick, and the types of builds you're doing, because we don't know what's going to work this year as far as build structure goes, right? I mean, and actually, if you want to have a little success bias, it has been kind of like, not always like totally. Well, I guess we did take a quarterback in the fifth round, but the last couple of winners, they've definitely waited on quarterbacks. So you could also do like a late round quarterback, late round tight end build, and I've played around with that as well. So let's pull this up, our draft that is, and look at. Actually, it's probably easier instead of looking at the board to look at the teams individually. But again, we had King of Kings in the 4 spot, we were in the 6 spot, and King of QC in the 12 spot. And let's look at their teams quickly. So King of Kings in the 4th spot, 2-5-9-2, Burrow and Murray, love that combo. And then Travis Etienne, Trey Benson, Tajay Spears, Ezekiel Elliott, Chuba Hubbard. Then you got Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Malik Neighbors, Keon Coleman, Rashid Shaheed, Jermaine Burton, further building out that Cincy stack, Zay Jones, DJ Shark, Michael Thomas. And then you got Trey McBride, you got the hero tight end with Hunter Henry. Love those. My quick thoughts would be, I would have just added another running back, since you really kind of just did the hero, like a kind of hero build with ETN. I would have probably done 6 running backs. But other than that, like, I like your stacks of Burrow and Kyler Murray. I think those are elite that you got them with Trey McBride and obviously Chase and Burton. So I like those a lot. I would probably have just done maybe like, ditch one of the receivers and gotten another running back. But other than that, like it. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, no, I tend to agree, especially with how strong the receivers are at the top, Chase and Adams and guys like that. But I get it.
Yeah, Justin says he loves a little Michael Thomas action in round 18. But good draft. And again, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be here every Wednesday, usually around lunchtime. We backed it up today to more happy hour time. But 4 drafts at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So be sure to join us. We love you guys joining us. And, he says, thanks for the draft, everybody. Again, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Now let's check out King of QC, who we mentioned some of his targets. Let's check out his draft, and then we can check out ours. I know I was super jealous of his stacks and some of the guys that fell to him, because I told you I had that Greyhound where I constantly felt sniped out of the 12 spot. And I feel like he got some really, really good players that fell nicely. So he had a 2-6-8-2. Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jalen Warren, Antonio Gibson, Bucky Irvin, Tank Bigsby, Evan Hall, 2 of the guys you mentioned, Garrett Wilson, Roma Dunze, Jamison Williams, Khalil Shakir, Josh Downs, Quentin Johnson, Roman Wilson, Wan'Dale Robinson, Travis Kelce, George Kittle. So 2 elite tight ends there. I like that. I really like the stacks you got with Mahomes and Goff. You obviously got the big, the game that everybody's targeting. Last year's Detroit Dallas is this year's Detroit San Francisco. So you got some nice access to that through your Detroit stack and Kittle and everything. So I like that a lot. I know, Steve, this draft from King QC targets a lot of your favorite players. So you want to speak to that?
Yeah, no, it definitely targets that and some key teams. I love just stacking up good teams. 49ers, Detroit, Chiefs. I mean, that's what we want. You got multiple Steelers, I believe. Not that they're a top team, but stacking up a team that I think that offense they're undervalued. I think they're undervalued right now.
You did get 2 Steelers,
and a couple other really stacking up Detroit, which I absolutely love. And then I like, with taking the double hero tight end, you have to go thinner. Your
Mhm.
receivers aren't going to look. Your receivers and running backs aren't going to necessarily look as good at the top. But he did
But you
that
got
with
6 and
getting
8. Yeah.
some quantity, and I
Yeah.
think he got the right kind of quantity. Guys like Bucky Irving, Bigsby Hall. I mean, all those guys. An injury occurs, and they are essentially just stepping into a good starting role. And same with, like, yeah, taking just upside plays on these young receivers like Shakir, Downs, Quentin Johnson, Roman Wilson, Wandell. Are they all going to hit? Likely no. But, a couple of those guys hit, and you're pairing them with the guys you took up the top, like,
Yeah.
Wilson, Odunze, and Jameson Williams. Yeah, then you could have a really good receiver room. And the other thing is, when you're taking those two tight ends, there's going to be weeks where, one, you should always have a good tight end score, and two, there's going to be weeks where they're counting as your flex, and they're
Mhm.
going to count better than
Right.
essentially any running back or receiver you could be putting in the flex.
Right.
So that's fine, absolutely fine as well.
Right. Well, King QC, thank you for joining us. This is, I believe, the second draft you joined us because you joined us last Friday on Friends of Best Ball with Tyler. We saw Tyler in the chat earlier, so thank you. And yeah, join us anytime. We love it. Let's look at our team, Steve. I mean, we talked kind of how we wanted to experiment with like the 1, 4, 5 of the first 10 and do a late round tight end build, and we did that successfully. And then I was really happy with the other 2 quarterbacks we got after kind of a top target in Anthony Richardson. So 3-5-7-3, which is a build we lean into a lot. Anthony Richardson, Brock Purdy, Will Levis, then Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift, Devin Singletary, Gus Edwards, all just kind of volume hogs, which I like a lot. Hopefully Gus Edwards will get a lot of work in charges and tons of falling value there. And again, the build let us snatch up some scoop some falling value, and I like that. So receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Deebo Samuel, Michael Pittman, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, Jalen Polk, I'll just say Tez Walker. Can't pronounce that right. So 2 rookies at the end there I like. And then Luke Musgrave, even doing the late round tight end build, feel solid with this. 3 different bye weeks, Luke Musgrave, Tyler Conklin, and our guy, Jatavion Sanders. So I like it a lot. There actually is some correlation. You've got, obviously all the quarterbacks are stacked, but as you mentioned, week 16, Tennessee, Indy plays each other. We've got week 17, San Francisco, Detroit, I believe. Yeah, with Amon-Ra. Yeah. And then there was another. Oh, I was looking when Miami. Sorry, when I asked you about the Miami receivers, but we didn't take either of them. They actually play San Francisco week 16.
We also have Green Bay, Minnesota. Week 17,
so skinny stacks. Yes, thank you. We have the week 17 Vikings Packers, and I like the fact that we also not just stacked up all of our quarterbacks, which that when you're going for three quarterbacks, we like having 3 quarterback stacks to give you outs in the playoffs. But and the correlation and the strong rooms and everything, and watching bye weeks, like all that. But I like again, kind of just stacking up good teams. We got 49ers, we got multiple pieces from the Packers. I'm trying to see if we got multiple pieces anywhere else. Obviously Titans, I think, is an undervalued offense that I like targeting. Do we get multiple Jets? No. So I'm happy with it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think it definitely, Purdy falling to us was huge. Edwards falling to us was huge. But what I like about that, our running backs are really strong, but I still don't think our wide receivers are weak. And, and it allowed us to, we took 2 late flyers on rookies late, but when Tyler Lockett is your 5th receiver, this guy has just massively outperformed that kind of draft stock every year. Even if JSN eats in a little bit more, like I said, there's a chance this Seattle offense makes a bit of a jump this year. And if not, I still think we're fine. Calvin Ridley's our 4. This is a guy who, is primed to be in a great spot. So, I just really like our receivers. I love the running backs. And that's the thing, we talk about all the time. Sam Sherman talked about it. You ideally you're hoping your flex is coming from the running back, and I think we're in a prime position to have that with our running back, with 5 really strong running backs, different buys. So we're always going to have 4 guys as long as they're healthy. So that just should really increase our optimal scoring potential.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy with the way that turned out. And like you said, some of those key falling value was the key to probably making me really, really happy with the way it turned out. But no, I really, really like that. And I don't have many Amon Ra shares, so I was excited to
Yeah.
get that. And I don't have as much of the Detroit, San Francisco yet, so that was fun to get with Purdy. So that was a fun draft. But it was also fun to have all you guys in chat. We really
Yeah.
appreciate it. Two of you, I know Andrew just missed the draft, unfortunately. But not only you guys in chat, but two of you were able to join us in the draft. So keep looking for these live drafts to join us. And follow us obviously at Fanspeak, at Megs08 DFS on Twitter, at SteveOSpeak. We'll let you know when we'll be going live, and of course, like and subscribe to the Fanspeak Network so you know when we're going live. Be sure before I get out of here, check out Andrew and Justin's show tomorrow night at 9:30. They will have another live draft for you. And then I will be on with Pat on Friday at 8:15. So very excited about that. Friends of Best Ball, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, p.m., a little nighttime, Friends of Best Ball, 8:15 p.m. Eastern on Friday. So thank you guys so much for joining us. For Steve, I'm Meg, and we will see you next time.